Good evening or morning, wherever you are. I got my usual 1 in, 1 out already. See if I get my usual up to 5 before I get started. But that's okay, because each one that comes in and then leaves still counts as a view. But if I got one coming in already, that means that should be notifications going out somewhere. There's one more in. Is this one a keeper? Another one's going to leave. Yeah, another one that leaves. I got 3 more to go. Usually I get my 5 in and out quicker than this, so they're slow responding tonight. Maybe because I started later than normal. And I often don't do them on Thursday night. There's number 3 came in. Now will this one stay or will it leave? And number 3 left. Got 2 more to go. Or do I have some people that are afraid to be first? Other times I get some that come in and want to be the first ones in. Now it seems they're afraid to be first. The other night when I did that silent live, I had more people come in and left comments for now than what I get here. Maybe I should just do silent lives every night. It'd save me a lot of time on here and let the people sit and talk to themselves. Nobody here, but I got a thumbs up. Interesting though. So how do I get a thumbs up with nobody here? Now I got one person in again. That's number 4. Now will this one stay or will it leave? Go ahead and say something. You'll be first. I just want to hang in the background and wait and see what happens. I got 2 here now, but nobody's saying anything. Now I'm down to 1 again. So I've had 4 of my 5 come in and leave. I got back up to 2 again, so is this going to be number 5 that leaves? Yep. So I've had my 5 in and 5 out, and I've got 1 sitting in the background. Too shy to talk. It'll make for a quiet live stream if nobody wants to talk. Just wants to sit there or come in and leave. Or maybe everybody took me serious on the title of this one. Hey, Kevin. I was just counting how many people came in and then left, never said a word. There's been 5 so far that came and left. I guess they were disappointed it wasn't silent, maybe. The other night when I did that silent live as an experiment, I had a bunch of people come in. In fact, I had 53 people come in that night. And even with it, being that way, I've got over 80 some that have been to it now. After the girls went and bought all that meat, did they go home? Or are they still out running around? There's number 6 came in and left. Okay. I wouldn't think you'd want to spend too much time wandering around town carrying a bunch of meat with you. It's not real cold when you get it. I mean, they try to keep it on ice, but it's still sitting out there in the open air. So you kind of want to get it, home, get it cut up, packaged, or however you're going to do it, and put it in the fridge, the freezer, or somewhere. Yeah. Hey, Marie. They had quite a bit of it, though, from what I saw them getting. I would think they would put part of it in the freezer because you're not going to eat it all up real quick. Maybe they will. But this looks like a lot of meat for just the 2 of them. Mike said it was 30 up there earlier today. Has it cooled off much this evening or still staying the same? It's 64 here now. I think it was 83, 84, something like that today. '21, it's dropped another 9 degrees then. This early in the evening means it's probably going to get cold tonight. It's most generally your coldest time is on around 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Got 5 people in here. Come on, people, say something. If you guys don't talk, I'll run out of things to say. Going down to 18. Well, that's not too much colder, but that's still cold. I don't miss that. No, that would be a nice change. '60s will seem like it's going back towards summer. Hey, half wet. Yeah, I did that the other night there, halfway. It was just like I said, a silent live. I called it an experiment. The reason I gave it that title, just figured it would entice more people to come and look at it. But so many people on YouTube do silent lives and always title it "Silent Live" for watch hours. And I'm always telling people they're not worth doing. You don't gain enough on them. So I did that one there. It was 8 hours and 20 minutes long, and I gained 1 hour and 42 minutes watch hour. Yeah, I thought about that afterwards. I should have had some kind of a something else in here for a little bit of light that you could at least see the room. You could make out the background because it was sitting right here near where I'm normally sitting at, and then toward morning when it started getting lighter, then you could see the curtains and the windows and stuff. IJ Sabel came in there and made a comment while it was night, and then in the morning she said, "Well, it's morning." And when she came back later, but I had 53 people come in and out that night at that, see what it was. With it being the time that I did it, overnight, most of them were from the Philippine side of the world. I didn't get as many U.S. viewers as I normally get on these, but I expected that. And by titling it as an experiment, that just got people's curiosity, where more people came in to see what it was. I had some people come into it that I've never had in my lives before. I've had 5 come in this one tonight, come in and leave. Whether it's been 5 different people or the same person just going in and out and keeps leaving, coming back. I don't know, but if they don't say anything, I don't know who it is. Normally I start these more in the area of 8 o'clock or so, and tonight it's after 9. So there's some of them that a lot of times will pop in for a little bit and then leave because they have to go to work. Well, I'm late for them now, so they more than likely won't even show up in this one. But it makes it hard to Yeah, I'm showing 6 here right now. I just went back to 6, but it makes it hard. Now it's back to 5. Makes it hard to to plan what time to do it at times, because it doesn't matter when you do it. It's always inconvenient for somebody else, elsewhere in the world. So you pretty much just have to, when you get time, whatever, do one and see who shows up. That one I did the other night there, the experiment, where it went all night. There was people I had doing, showing up in that one at 4 or 5 in the morning, which, in the Philippines, that would have been 5 or 6 in the morning. I had some, 2 or 3. Well, that would have been 3 and 4 in the afternoon over there. I said 5 or 6 in the morning. It would have been 5 or 6 in the evening for them. I mean, it don't matter what time you do it. It's not always perfect for everybody. And that's why I tell some people, when they say, well, I never come to theirs. Well, if they do it at the time, that's middle of the night for me, I'm most generally not up. Once in a while there, I'll get crazy and stay up all night, but not always. And if I stay up at all night, I don't get nothing done the next day and want to sleep half the day. I was at a live stream earlier this afternoon with some Filipinos that live in the U.S. Sat here talking with them, and hey Josh, things got quiet for a little bit. They were chattering back and forth in Tagalog, and I didn't know what was going on. I sat here and fell asleep. Half hour later, I woke up and they were still talking. They thought it was funny, but yeah, nothing much going on, Josh. I just came in late tonight to see, whatever. I haven't done one for a couple of days. Hey, Jonah. How are you today? Because I've always tried to do mine like at 8 o'clock, thinking it balances out more for not being too late here and not too early for anybody on the other side. And then, like I say, the ones that are working in the Philippines, Hong Kong, Japan, or wherever, if I go too late with it, then they're already started their work day. I finally got my new battery for this laptop today. It came in the mail finally. I ordered it Friday of last week. They shipped it out of California. I've been trying for several months to get one from Dell. My computer's a Dell. And every time I called them, they were out of stock and had no idea when they were going to get one in. I went to Best Buy, both in Daytona and here locally. And Best Buy in Daytona sold me the wrong one the first time. Took it back, and they were going to order another one for me, which after I got looking at the figures on it. No, I haven't, Josh. I've still got to play with that idea yet. But the battery that they were going to give me, I think, would have been the wrong one too, because when I went to the second Best Buy, they pulled their numbers up and started telling me, well, this one's got this, this, and this. I said, well, that's not right. It's the wrong wrong amps, I think it is. I don't remember. But anyways, the kid looked it up on Amazon and found one. Would have been, because at the Best Buy they were $100. Hey, Joyce. No, I just put that title up to see what people would have to say about it. But anyways, he found one on Amazon that was $69. So I came home, looked it up, was going to try to order that. I couldn't find the one he had. And I found another one. I ended up paying $23 for it. The original one that Dell put in this thing says that the components are from China, assembled in China. And the one I ordered said the components were from Korea and assembled in China. No, I haven't even tried that yet, Josh. I went to see about backtracking a little bit what you asked about the printer. I went to Best Buy to see about getting one. They didn't have any of what I wanted in stock. And she had a bunch of others that she was missing. And the girl said, that all these places here where you see these blank spots, whatever, there's some that, we can't even get them ordered. They're not, well, it's like everything else. You go to Walmart, wherever, they don't have stuff on the shelves. They can't get it. So I came home and looked online. I found a printer that I think is the same one as mine, and it's way more money than I thought it was. Because I was thinking when I looked at them, it's been a few years ago, I thought $100 and some. Right now they're $399 for that printer. So I kind of sitting on it. I need to go ahead and get one though, if I can't figure out a way to get mine to work, because I need to be able to print my stuff off and do income tax. And I did my New York State highway use tax here recently, got it all done, submitted it, and then hit print, and it wouldn't print. So I'm in limbo on that. I don't have a hard copy of what I filed. Is that the only reason you came, Joyce? Because you thought it was going to be quiet here? You didn't want to talk to anybody? And I spoiled your morning. I'm here. How are things in Thailand today? I don't know. I just got to sit down and do it, and I never think of it. You're packing. What are you doing? Getting ready to move, or what? Hey, Rena. Yeah, I remember before you just did a video here recently. You was in a hotel somewhere in northern Thailand, I think. Josh, I just need to sit down sometime and just start it. It's just I forget about it most time, and I come on here and just do straight YouTube and don't think about it till after I get on and everybody asks about it. How do you mean working laptop, Rena? My laptop's been working. Just I've got problems with, before I needed a battery. I just got a new battery today and it's in it now. It only ran for a few hours and then was low and I had to plug it in. It took a lot of hours to charge it, and it's been on all day. It's at 32% now, so see how well it lasts before it runs down. I have to recharge it again. But they originally told me there at Best Buy when I was first looking at them that when you put the new battery in, you need to run it completely dead and then completely charge it again a few times to get the cycle built into it. So see how that works with this one. Went to have a road trip 1 week ago. Stayed in North Thailand, this time called. Yeah, I remember seeing your video on that. Well, yeah, Rena, someday I'll break down and buy a new one, because this one, like I said, I just replaced the battery. I need to replace the keyboard, and the case is cracked on both sides of the keyboard because it's heavy. It's a 17.3-inch monitor, and it's heavy. When I picked it up, I'm picking it up too far out, and it's cracked right where the USB ports are at. Hey, Mike. But the only thing about buying a new one, I paid $1,300 for this one, and that was several years ago. And so if I buy a new one, that's more money going out, and they're probably more now. And then everything I got in this one, I don't have a ways to, put a lot of it from one to the other without making a mess. Rainy, you can get me a new laptop for Christmas. Can I use Mike's PayPal to buy it with? I would like a new desktop computer because the one I'm using was my mom's, and I didn't realize her that apparently she didn't do a bunch of the updates on it, latter years or whatever, and it's way behind, and it's getting where it won't do a lot of stuff I want to do with it, because it's not up to date. Even using my email and stuff, it uses the older version of Yahoo email than what the new one is. I can't use Skype on it. There's some other things that I do that I can't do on it. I'm not sure about YouTube. I'd have to play with that and see if it even works. Yeah, go ahead, Mike, because Arena wanted me to buy a laptop, and I told her I'd use your PayPal to pay for it. But I'd really like to buy another laptop like that one is over there. I've got a Dell laptop, but it's old. The one time when I installed a new McAfee antivirus, it messed everything up in my computer, and I had a computer guy look at it, and he said, yeah, it shut everything down. The only thing I could do with it was to delete everything out of the computer and then reformat it and start over. And I've just never done it. What is AOL? Why do you need it? Who are you asking that to? I don't understand. But that computer's old enough. It worked on I was going to say Windows 98, but it was the Windows XP, which that's not maintained anymore neither. So I'd probably be further ahead, just go ahead and get rid of it and buy a different one. But the one I'm using over here that was my mom's is a Mac or an Apple, whichever you want to call it. And I really like it, but they're a lot of money. That one's got a 21-inch monitor. And I was thinking about going to like my sister has. I think hers is either a 23 or 25-inch monitor on it. Then it has the wireless keyboard and the wireless mouse both. And you don't have the CPU sitting there like you do with the Dell or whatever. Everything's in the monitor. Oh, AOL. Yeah, I can't think what it stands for now. Because when I first started using the internet, I used AIM Messenger, which was AOL's Messenger. AOL was a form of internet service, just like now you got Chrome and Microsoft Edge and whatever. Hey, Jim. Yeah, that was back in the days of dial-up too, Jim. You turn on your computer and enter your sign in and password stuff, and you'd hear the clicking of the phone dialing through the computer. And whenever you was on the American Online, okay, that's I couldn't remember what it was at first. But when you use the dial-up, If you was on the internet, you couldn't use your phone. Or once in a while, somebody would call me, and then that would kick you off the internet. Hey, Janet. How you been doing? Yeah, you have mail. Well, it just depends on what you use for internet otherwise, or how you do your internet. I don't know how yours is set up. My internet here is through my phone company, which is CenturyLink. And that's the only one I can get here for uh, using this way, unless I use a wireless one. Like I have wireless Verizon in my truck, but my internet here in the house, comes through my phone. Okay, well, if you've got Sprint Wi-Fi, you don't need AOL. You're doing duplication. You got two of them. You don't need them both, unless you're getting them set up for when Rena gets there, so she can have 5 or 6 computers spread out and really do YouTube full time. She'll be she'll be singing on one and dancing on another and doing TikTok on another and Zumba on the next one. Your electric meter will be spinning so fast you'll have smoke coming off it. You'll see Rena online going, "This is Rena Roberts, WKLOB in Ohio." Put it on the child settings where they get 1 hour a day. After 1 hour, it shuts down. We were talking here before, Mike, about them looking at them Pete's. I think if they get one of them with a long nose hood on it, she's going to have trouble seeing to drive it. She'll run over something in front of her because she won't see it. I'm doing all right, Janet. Not too much changes with me. I just keep waiting for a little bit better weather where I can do more outside. And I keep saying, I need to go ahead and do it now, because if I wait too long, it's going to get hot and I won't want to do anything outside then either. Well, that's true, Jim. I mean, I, I don't see anything wrong with YouTube. If you enjoy spending some time with it, but I myself, along with many people, spend too much time on it, and COVID was a big thing on that. That pushed so many people to YouTube. That's why everything grew so fast, and all the problems we ran into with it, because it was just overwhelming the company. You know, well, that one they're talking about up in St. Louis, I think he said it's supposed to have, which I didn't think was not as big as what some of the other drivers I've seen have, but I think he said 159-inch sleeper. And that other couple there, and I can't think of their channel name now, but I was thinking they had a 230-inch sleeper. Yeah, and if she gets a wheelbase that long and then pulling that spread axle trailer, she's going to need 40 acres to turn it around. She did a video here just recently there where she went to some farm or something somewhere and got on a wrong road or whatever, and then couldn't turn, and then couldn't slide her axles together so she could turn. I haven't watched it yet, but she just did another one. Yeah, really a football field. She just did another one the other day, and I saw the title of it. She made a wrong turn and was on a road with a bridge that was 13.5. So I had to back up. Jim, you can always go watch old reruns of the Flintstones. Watch Fred and Barney. I don't remember whether his son Brandon is still working with them, went working with somebody else. No, he's working with them because he was saying the truck he's in is going to be available Monday, and they got a new driver that's supposed to be there Monday starting Tuesday. But Brandon's supposed to be getting a new T680. Just did the paperwork, I guess, on it today, and the truck's supposed to be ready Monday for him so he can hit the road Tuesday with it. And then whatever he's been driving, they got a new driver that's flying in, supposed to be there Monday to start Tuesday. They've supposedly hired some other drivers and have supposed to have had trucks coming in. They were supposed to have been there the first of this month, and the trucks aren't showing up. The dealer keeps always promising, they'll be there, they'll be there, they'll be there, but then they don't. And this place they were in today in Alabama, I think only had 5 trucks sitting on the yard. 4 of them were day cabs, and the 5th one was a flat top. What was Ken doing yesterday? He's got a sore back from shoveling snow. But I've heard different ones on here talking about truck sales and stuff. Every place you go to a yard somewhere, they don't have any new trucks available. As soon as they get one in, it's already been sold. And I noticed here recently when I went into town, even the Ford dealer in town, I think they only had 3 or 4 pickups on the lot. The line where it's usually full of pickups is empty. All moving furniture, yeah. Yeah, I try not to do that stuff anymore, Mike. That's what I was doing today with earlier. Told you I was up the road there with helping the neighbors, and I went to luncheon with them. She's 80 some years old. I go up every Monday, put her trash out for her because once the trash cans are filled, she can't move them. Her niece and niece's husband come down every so often. They're here this week, and they go through and take care of stuff in the house and clean stuff up for her and whatnot, and help her with different things. And they went and bought some new Venetian blinds to put up. Took out the ones that are plastic and got some that have the little blind things that are actually wood. And they had me putting those up. Yeah, you're right, Mike. But me doing that up there where I was, reaching up above my head that way, was at the point I could, just about reach everything what I was doing, putting the screws into it to hold the new ones up. But that was bothering me, my shoulders, that reaching, trying to do that, and then trying to twist screws into the wall. If I'd went and got a short step ladder, it would help, but trying to do with what I had, and then made myself sore doing it. Yeah. I know what you mean with that stuff, Ken. For a while there, I worked with a company that all we did was move furniture. And there was one place that we went that they had a big screen TV that was big enough. It took 3 of us to carry it, and we had to take it up to the 3rd floor apartment. The other ones I used to hate to move was those couches that have the recliners on both ends. Those devils are heavy. And most generally, when you're moving that stuff like that, you have problems with it. You want to cuss at it and whatnot, but the people you're moving it for are standing watching. I know what you mean, Ken. There's a lot of stuff I tell people all the time. There's a lot of stuff anymore I can't do that I used to. I mean, one, I don't have the strength I used to have, and I still try to do everything by myself. And there's a lot of stuff that's kind of makes me hesitant to do because even like when I was on the road hauling cars, I didn't haul them or didn't load and unload, like if it was raining or something, because my car hauler was, when it was wet, was slick. And I just told people I don't land as well as I used to. It used to be if I slipped off or something like that, I was kind of like a cat. I could always manage to land on my feet, but that don't always happen anymore. That was how I broke my heel a couple of years ago. I was out here on a ladder trimming on a tree, and the wind came up with the last big limb that I was trying to cut, and I was going to quit anyways. But when the wind caught it, it caused the limb to swing around the opposite direction of what I intended, and it hit me, knocked me off the ladder, and knocked the ladder over. And then I had a refrigerator sitting in the driveway, and it hit the refrigerator, knocked it over. But when I come off the ladder, laying on the concrete driveway, I broke my heel in 2 places. I laid out there in the driveway for probably over an hour before I could even get up. And I was, at the time I was doing it, I was also using an electric pole saw. And when I fell and went backwards, the pole saw, when it came down and hit the ground, the way it hit, it drove the armature and the motor right out through the side case of the saw. So I messed up my saw that day too. But I didn't like that saw anyways. I'd rather have a gas pole saw. Yeah, and I understand that, Mike. And the thing of it is, it's only going to get worse. I'll be like the lady up the road there, where I go take her trash out for every week. I'll be getting somebody to come take mine out. But mind you, unless I do a bunch of work outside and stuff, cleaning in the yard or working on my scrap and stuff, I usually don't have much trash. So really, mine's not a problem that way. All my neighbors seem to have trouble getting all their trash in their trash can. We have the big trash cans that are on wheels that when the truck pulls up, it's got that clamp that comes out from the side, picks it up and then dumps it and sets the can back down. They're 95-gallon trash cans. And if I use just household trash, I can go a couple months before I even have much in mine. And most of my neighbors, theirs is full, they can't close the lid every week. I just don't waste stuff like that. So I don't have much to throw away. Yeah, I don't put mine out every week. Right now, my trash can out there is a little better than half full, but it's because I did a bunch of stuff out in the yard the other day with it. I haven't mowed in quite a while because in the wintertime we don't have to mow much. The only thing that grows is the weeds. And I was going to get the weed eater and go out and just go around and cut all them off. And I thought, well, shoot, they're the ones that grow up in a tall stalk. They have all the seeds and stuff on them. I went out and just started pulling them, throwing them in the trash. Most of them came out roots and all, so I get rid of them. There's a few of them that broke off instead, so they'll come back. But maybe if I can do that, I'll get rid of a few and I won't have so much of that weedy crap in my yard. Yeah, that always gets me. That the stuff that we go and get a big U-Haul truck for, they move it on like you say, a scooter, tricycle or whatever. My last trip to the Philippines, we went into town and I bought her a mattress for her full size bed and got them to deliver it for us too. Before we got home, the mattress is already at the house and on the bed. But I guess they say if there's a will, there's a way. My battery's down to 10% now. I'll leave it, let it sit, and let it run a little bit lower before I plug it in. No, it was her brother-in-law that worked at the place where we went and bought it at. That's why it was in the house, because he was in and out anyways, so that wasn't a problem. But it's just it just surprised me that he beat us even home. Yeah, yeah, but there's just so much over there. Like I say, they don't have much, but they do what they can to get what they can. You see the guy out on the side of the road there with his little patch kit and stuff, repairing tires. I've seen even the young kids over there with their basket hanging around their neck, the little flat basket like thing, like you see the hot dog vendor at the ball stadiums, and all they got in there is packs of cigarettes, and they're selling them one cigarette at a time. They're doing what they can to make money. Over here, they stand on the side of the street there with a sign says, "Anything will help," asking for donations. There's one young girl in town that every time I go to town and I come back through in the afternoon, I see her at the same corner. She sits there at the intersection where there's a traffic light. It's a busy intersection with her sign out, that needs help. And her three kids, they're little kids. She's got one of them in a baby stroller, sitting on the sidewalk playing. She's collecting money that way. I don't know how much she gets or if she makes good money or not. By having the kids there, she may get quite a bit. People tend to want to help kids more than they do adults, but when I was on the road, when I come back in every weekend, or whenever I got back, when I go by my bank, I'd pull in with my truck and trailer and pull in there and park and have to walk up the street to get to the bank. I couldn't get into the bank with that. But there was always a guy sitting there in the corner right across from the bank with his sign out there, homeless vet. And he was looking for donations. And he sat on that same corner every time I come through. I always wonder if he really was a vet, if he really was homeless, or if that was just his ploy to make money. They had a thing in the news here quite a while back where they had caught some people that were doing that. They'd have a couple people on working an intersection somewhere during the day like that, collecting, begging for money per se. And they said then they would see this Cadillac pull up. A couple people would get out of it and walk over to where the others were at, and those that were there would go over and get in the Cadillac and leave. Change of shift. That's how what they did for work every day. And the story on it was that they were making more in what they were begging and collecting than what the average person makes working a full-time job. There's an older gentleman here that does that. He sits down here at the village out in front of the convenience store, has him a little folding chair, sits right there at the edge of the pavement, and every time a car goes by, he holds out his gallon plastic jug for people to give him money. But he's down there most every day. I don't know how much he gets, but I'm sure he's getting some or he wouldn't stay there. Some of these people I see in town standing on the corners that way. Yeah. Maybe the thing to do, Ken. Right across the jug. Retired. Need help. But there's a lot of these younger people I see out there that way, with the signs, saying that they're homeless or whatever, anything will help, whatnot. Everywhere you go, there's help wanted signs up. Why don't they go somewhere and get a job? Yeah. Well, that, Jim, or the other thing too, I would rather, they're asking money, saying they need money for food. I'd rather take them into McDonald's somewhere and buy them a hamburger and a Coke or something than to give them the money that they'll turn around and go buy beer with. But when I went to Daytona here a week ago, I guess it was, driving past the county jail over there, they've even got a big sign out in front of the jail, help wanted. And I've never seen them do that before. But every place you go by, whether it's Handyway, Walmart, 7-Eleven, even the scrap yards got a sign out front, help wanted. I wouldn't think the work at a scrap yard would be hard work, be dirty, but not hard work. Because most everything they do, as far as moving stuff's done with a forklift or something like that. Or you run using a cutting torch to cut stuff up. Or using another machine to feed stuff into the shredder. I agree with you, Ken. I keep saying I miss being on the road. I like to, kept driving. Because my original intent when I was doing that before, I said I was going to, as long as I could pass my DOT physical, I wanted to keep going until I was 70. But friggin' insurance got high and everything else going on. I finally quit early and I miss it now. But I've got a lot of stuff to do around here that can keep me busy. Just most time now I don't have the ambition to do it. You look back at a couple of my videos there that I did showing the fog and stuff here. You can see I got that big wood pile around back. I've still got to get stuff blocked up and split and whatnot. Oh, you're leaving out in the morning, Mike? But I need to get that stuff, blocked up and split and put in the woodshed. Keep it dry for, next winter. I've got some other wood out here beside the driveway that I need to get blocked and split and use it because it's been there for a couple of years. It's not as good as it would have been if I'd have put it away. Yep, that's exactly what it is, Mike. Lazyitis. It's too easy to sit here now and say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. And another excuse to put it off again. Today. I think it's going to rain today. Well, when I first quit driving, I still got up early every morning. It was just habit. I would get up early, get around and get my breakfast and do stuff and be outside puttering around and about be wore out and say, well, that's pretty good work today. I'll go and take a break for a while and look, and hell, it wasn't even noon yet. I'd already got more done in the morning then than what I do all day now. But when I was doing roofing there for a while, that's the way I did it. I'd get up in the morning, go out and work on it, and quit at noon, then go back after supper and work till dark. That noon till supper time was hollering a bitch on the roof, and 8, 9, maybe 10. Well, Mike, as long as you own a home, you'll never run out of work to do. There's always something breaks. It's like the place across the road there. I've told you I've had problems with them with the dogs. The lady that they're buying it from called me this morning. She can't get a hold of them, and wanted to let them know that they've been paying extra on their payments. Next month's payment, she said they only owe $100 and they'll have it paid off. And he's been finding there that, since he bought the place, it's all the time having problems. It's something wrong. I mean, it's an older trailer to begin with. The trailer's a '67, and the addition they have on the front of it there for a porch and whatnot, the roof wasn't done the right way the first time, and he don't know what he's doing to actually go in and fix it. So he half-ass, patches it, and then it leaks again. Yeah, I know what you mean, Jim. But as long as you don't have something too big and expensive, then file for homestead, you don't have to pay so much that way. The big part of what I pay for taxes is garbage and fire tax. I think I pay $197 a year for garbage and $210 or something like that for trash or for fire department. Ken, didn't Mike tell you that he wants to bring Rena to Florida so she can start a kitty farm down here? He said that way when he's sitting there, in his recliner, with his Heineken watching the ball game, he can have 3 or 4 cats laying in his lap asleep. But that's okay, Mike, because Ken and Maureen are going to raise crabs and lizards. Yeah, all them kitties laying in his lap, they're sleeping while he's watching the ball game. Well, that's what mine does. It's in the one I got in the house does. Most generally, she's laying out here on my feet. I'm sitting in the recliner, my feet up. Yeah, and she lays here on the footrest across my feet. Hey, Monroe. Right now, she's laying in there in the rocker that's in front of the wood stove. I mean, I don't have the wood stove going, but that's where she's still laying. I didn't light it the last 2 nights, which I could have because it got down to 40s. But the heat kicked on. Well, let's see, today's Thursday. Yesterday morning, I woke up about 6 and it was kind of chilly in here, and I got up and turned the heat on. It was only 45 outside. And then I left it on last night. It got down, I mean, maybe around 50 or something last night. But she laid in there in the chair most of the time during the night when the wood stove wasn't going. Then she'd come in and get on the bed and then go back to the chair. Sometimes she'll go and lay by one of the floor vents where the heat comes up through. In the summertime, if I don't have the air on, it starts getting warm in here. She'll go over to the floor vent and sit there and look down the vent like she's like, where's the cold air at? Kind of gives me a hint that it's getting time to turn the air on. Oh, I'm about the same, Monroe. There isn't too much changes with me from day to day. Or maybe I'm just moving too slow to notice any change. See, by me starting these lives later like this, some of them that usually used to come in when I started 8 o'clock, like Amore, JB Vlogs, they both haven't come in. Sammy hasn't been in. they're already up and about and working, time I started. Did Rena ever get her new glasses? I forgot about that. Yeah, Monroe, I'd like to go when you go in April, but like I said before, I'm still stuck with the problem. Somebody take care of my kitties. I had said, back when I had my other cat there put to sleep back in 2015, was it? I wasn't going to get any more just because they tied me down that way. And then that first one showed up, and she's in the house now. And the next couple showed up, and then they had more. And I've still got a bunch of them. My kitten outside, well, she's not a kitten, a cat. Outside there, Jill, she had 7 last time. She's pregnant again. Yeah, you could do it over there, Monroe. Well, I've thought of that too, Mike, but that's just a pain because I feed them more than once a day. It's not like even when I was taking care of the neighbor's dogs, I used to do them twice a day, and I don't think half the time they do them even once a day. I'm just fussier on taking care of stuff. My cats, they get fed 3, maybe 4 times a day. Well, that's all I use, Ken. I and I wasn't even paying $5. I was getting them at Save a Lot, like these I got on. I think I paid $1.50 for them. I need to get more of them because I keep this pair in here. I have a pair in the car. I have a pair in the truck. But the ones in the truck that I use when I'm working and doing stuff outside got so scratched up that I need to throw them away and get some more. That's the problem with buying cheap glasses. They scratch easy. But, dropping them on the ground and stuff outside don't help them any either. Yeah, but Mike, the problem I have is keeping the stray neighborhood cats out of stuff and the possums and raccoons and stuff. I go out every morning and set their dishes out for them, feed them. I add food to it a couple times during the day. And then at night between 11 and 11:30, I go out and pick their dishes up and put them in my pump shed to keep the wildlife away from them. I may have to go make a trip to the store here in a day or two and buy food because normally I buy it from online from Chewy and they are out. Every time I've checked it lately, it's out of stock. And Ken, it's different with yours because you've got what, two in the house. See, which with that, with mine in the house, I feed her every morning, and that's all I have to do with it. Other than like most people know, the litter box depends on how you do it. I clean mine every time she uses it. A lot of people, do it once every couple of days or whatever. Just the different how I've always done mine. But my outside ones, I have to deal with other problems. With, like I said, the wildlife. Sometimes during the summer, I have to keep going out once in a while, and I spray around the outside edge of their food dish to keep the ants out of it. Um, Trying to think. Regular, I think, is maybe 345. Yeah, if I just had my house cat, I mean, like I say, I feed her once a day. Yours is higher then. But pricing on gas like that, too varies depending on what your state fuel tax is. Florida's fuel tax is not one of the higher ones. The high ones are like Pennsylvania and California. The cheaper ones is like Oklahoma. But I feed my cat Fluffy inside once a day, take care of her water. I do clean the litter box several times a day. Kind of spoils her because if she goes in there and uses it and it's a little bit messed up, I see her go in there and just look at it, and she'll stand there and wait for me to come clean it before she'll use it again. That's like I got a couple of them outside that are spoiled. When I'm not out there and stuff, they'll slip out between the gates. I got a 5-foot chain link. They'll slip out between the gates and go out and wander up the road or whatever. And then when they come back, they see me outside. They'll go sit there by the gate and won't come in until I go over and unlock the gate and open it and let them in, and then close the gate behind them. It's kind of just all in how much you spoil them. Kind of like kids. Today, when I was over by Umatilla, which is west of me, there's a small truck stop over there. I mean, it's only got 4 uh, truck pumps. And then it's got the other setup for cars. But their diesel price, their gas price was $3.50, and their diesel price was $3.12. Only that place I've seen in years where diesel's been less than gasoline. And then the next convenience store up the street, their diesel was 408. I don't know, Mike. I used to buy diesel from them all the time. I never had any problems with it. There's, I do think that maybe there's a poorer quality diesel in this county than the neighboring county, because when I used to buy diesel here in this county and then would go out with it and stuff like that and run, I didn't get as good a mileage with it as I did if I bought diesel in the neighboring county. And the place I used to get the best mileage even with gasoline, which would surprise you because you know he was getting up into the mountains and stuff, was in Virginia. You would think they're running the mountains and stuff, you get worse mileage, but I always got better mileage from the fuel I bought up there. I used to buy at TA and Petro a lot, but I kind of stayed away from TA. There's a couple Petros I used to buy because they were convenient where I went, and I used to spend the night there. But I bought a lot of my fuel at Love's, or if I could find it, I bought it at Hess, which now is Pilot bought out Hess, just because they were cheaper. But there's a Petro up in Pennsylvania, just an exit or two north of Wilkes Barre. I always stayed at that one going north, and I bought fuel there a lot of times. Yeah, that just depends on where you're at, Mike. When I was over in Daytona here last week, there's a Wawa station over there, and their fuel price was 1 penny cheaper than it was over this way. That's the only difference. I mean, they used to advertise, you know, what a great deal they were. Racetrack used to be that way too. Racetrack used to be way cheaper than anybody else because they only took cash. When they started taking credit cards, then their prices went up. But the Wawa stations, I didn't see, you know, when they first came in the area, I think they were cheaper and everybody was raving about all the great deals they were getting there. But I don't think anymore they're any better than anybody else price wise. Food wise, I've never bought anything in them. I don't know. I mean, they advertised when they first started down here. They were advertising everything, you know, foods, coffee, and all that stuff, same way Racetrack does. But I've never purchased anything in them. I don't know. I never even bought stuff in Racetrack, most generally, other than stopping at fuel. And for a long time, they had a thing on your fuel receipt there that you could take it in and get, depending on when they did it. Sometimes it was a free roller item like the hot dog, sausage, and stuff. Another time it was a free coffee or whatever. I always used those and got the free stuff, but I always took anything I could get free. I even cheated the system on that some too because it used to be with my checking account. If I took, they said if I used my ATM, you know, debit card for 10 purchases a month, my checking was free. I mean, that was one of the ways to keep it free. Other is, you know, have direct deposit or keep a balance or whatever. But the girl at the bank told me, she says, when you go into some place, Walmart or wherever, she's going to buy 10 1 penny items and make them ring them up separate. Then you got your 10 purchases for the month in. So when I'd pull into Racetrack with my truck, I'd pump $20 worth of fuel, shut it off, and get a receipt. I'd pump $20 worth of fuel, shut it off, and get a receipt. So I'd get a whole pile of receipts that way. And then I had a whole pile of receipts to take inside and get the free sausage, the free coffee, and whatever. I mean, I can get a bunch of them that way because I mean, fuel prices were high back when I was still on the road too, higher than they are now, and I never stopped and got fuel for less than $100 in my truck even. The highest place I paid for fuel, Pennsylvania was high because of the fuel tax. Then the other place, New York, was always high. But the farther north you got in New York, closer to the Canadian border, the higher it got. Because fuel in Canada is way higher than ours. And a lot of the Canadians used to come across in northern New York to buy fuel because it was cheaper than what it was, for them in Canada. But when I was running up there hauling cars, I was paying around $5 a gallon for diesel up there back then. So I tried to fill up down central New York before I went north and do my drops and then come back and then fill up again. So I didn't have to buy any up, north. The cheapest place I used to get it was on Interstate 81 down in Mexico. There was a small truck stop down there. They only had 3 pumps, but they were the cheapest place around. And then I could run from there down to the Petro at Wilkes Barre and fill up again. And then I'd go to a Sheetz station down on 17 in Virginia and fill up again because that was the cheapest anywhere I run on the East Coast. And most generally, going south, I stayed at that Sheetz overnight. Going north, I'd stay at that Petro up at Wilkes Barre. It was silent, Sammy, but everybody started talking. I couldn't get everybody to be quiet. They just messed the whole thing up. Yeah, it's just hard to find good help, Sammy. How you doing today? When I first started, I thought you'd be the first one in. You were the other night on my silent one. You were first and Maureen was second. Because I went back afterwards, the next morning and I read every comment, so I knew who was here and stuff. Yeah, Monroe's always here too. Hey, Fishing Local, how are you this evening? Okay. You still working on that same boat or did you get that one finished? You haven't talked too much about, the boats and stuff in a long time. Because you was doing a lot of work on one before, but I never heard whether you finished it and started another or what you're doing. And if it's already that hot by 11:30 in the morning, it's going to be a hot day. work the online cockpit house. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Fishing Local on my live before. I used to get a couple of the others pop in once in a while, but they haven't been lately. Oh, I know you do, Sammy. It just like I said, you used to show a lot of what you was doing with your dad, and you haven't in a while, or I've missed it one. I didn't know. I've never done any boat building, so it's to me it's interesting to watch what you do with them. I'll be here for a little while probably. Well, that's kind of the way it is with me, Fishing Local. I'll stay here until people get tired of listening to me and they all leave, so then I'll quit. Which it's 10:30 p.m. here. Okay, well that's same place Monroe's from there. His channel name is Life in North Carolina. That's where he's at in North Carolina. Do you go to any of the other like the catfish channels and stuff up there, like Two Stands or Catfish Jody or any of them? Because they usually all have lives and stuff together back and forth and do their fishing tournaments. Because I drop into theirs every once in a while. Yeah, peach trees here. Not too much. How you doing this evening? Okay. Yeah, there's quite a few people go into their lives and stuff, and I can't keep track of all of them because some of them I don't see very often, and I don't get to them all the time either. I'm involved with too many channels, and so I just tell people I can't make it to all of them all the time. There's not enough hours in the day. Because right now I'm subbed to over 600 channels. If I went to all of them, I couldn't be there more than a couple minutes at a time, and I'd have to leave to go to the next one. And I would still miss somebody. So it just kind of depends on who's on when and where I'm at and which ones I can catch. And some nights I get going with a few of them like that, and next thing I know, it's 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still sitting here. Do that, and that just messes up my whole day. Yeah, well, I used to catch a lot of Sammys, but she's been doing hers earlier, and I'm not always up when she does them. Deborah does hers too early for me to make most of them, unless I stay up late, and then I'll catch them before I go to bed. But I usually miss most of hers. Once in a while, I might catch Jean's because she does hers after Deborah. And a lot of times, Jean's live is Deborah's still doing it because Jean's busy with something else. But Deborah will do the live for her just to give Jean the time. Jason Bell does that once in a while too. She'll pop a live stream on too late at night. She's an hour earlier, time zone than me, but it still makes it late for me, and I miss hers. She hasn't been in tonight either. She was on my silent live the other night there that I did. Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched either of those. There are a lot of Filipino channels that I do go to. One that I do go to quite often, and she mostly only shows up here, is Ruby's. She's always real lively. I was at what is it, Ray Summer earlier today. She had a live, but she would be asleep by now. Let me look. Make sure I got the name right when I say that. Now I can't even find her channel. Well, anyways, because she's in Saudi, I think. So her, time is different than Philippines. And there's a few other Filipino channels that I go to occasionally, but they're all in the U.S., so their time schedule is the same as mine. Makes it easier for me to catch them. 3 of them are right here in Florida. Fourth one, she's from Minnesota, but they're on vacation in Florida right now. When I saw her today, I don't know if my count's right on here now or not. It's showing I've only have one person here now. The other night it showed I had 0, but I had people in the chat talking. Now I just jumped back up to 3. Must have put everybody to sleep and they all had to run get coffee. Well, that's the thing of it, Ken. If you try to watch everybody, that you're friends with, that you know, or whatever, you never get off here. And then the ones you miss get upset that you didn't get to them. I mean, one couple there, Patrick and John Lynn, I used to watch theirs all the time. But hell, they do 4 or 5 live streams a day now. I can't keep up with them. I just don't have that kind of time to, try to chase their lives. I mean, it's easier for them to do them because they're either doing it while they're driving or they have the camera set up while they're loading or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of time frame they put into editing and stuff because I don't do any on mine. When I do a video or whatever I take is what you see. Naturally, your live streams just go as what you do is what you see. But they put out a lot of content. It makes it hard to keep up with all of it. And then for a while there, I was also following Patrick's daughter, Becca. And then Corey's wife, Rona, had a channel. She wasn't doing anything with it, but now her and Corey have a channel together, and they're posting videos. You try to keep up with all of them. It's just a lot of stuff, a lot of time involved in it. I don't think Becca's put out a video in a month or more. She was doing them most every day there for a while. She didn't have much of anything, I don't think, before she started driving, but once she got her CDL and started driving trucks, she was kind of doing them, keeping up with what John Lynn was doing. And it was interesting then because a lot of times they were running the same route together, so you've seen the same scenario, but from a different angle, different viewpoint. There's another channel that I used to follow a lot and haven't done this much to lately. The guy's name is Ron Pratt. He runs a wrecker service out of Southeast Missouri. And he always videos everything he has. He's got the cam on his hard hat. He has one up on top of his wrecker above the boom. So everything he's doing when he's out walking around and hooking stuff up and whatnot, he gets the video there. After he's done, at the end of the video, it'll do a short replay clip and show everything from the top of the boom angle, which lets you see some of the stuff, the truck was doing and whatnot from a different angle. But he's got some big equipment and gets into some kind of hellacious places at times, where semis have tipped over or whatever, putting stuff back together. Sometimes it's not putting it back together, just picking up the pieces. But it's interesting watching it done. His dad used to work with him on it some. It's a family-run business. But his dad just recently passed away. And he's got another young guy that he's got quite a few people working for him, but he's got another young guy that's been with him for a little while that is either going to be a son-in-law or is his son-in-law now. Been learning the business. Yeah, I've only had 3 of those spam bots, whatever, in the chat tonight. Then somebody's the other day there that they just kept coming one after another coming in the chat. Everybody's got kind of quiet. Shows I've got 3 people here yet. Maybe you got 3 spam bots in the background. They're just waiting their turn to post their garbage. Well, everything's kind of winding down here. I think maybe I'll go ahead and close this up. It was good talking with you all tonight. And somebody else just came in now. It always seems to happen when I say, well, maybe I'll leave. Hey, IJ. Weird. I was just talking about you a while ago that you hadn't showed up tonight. But you was on my silent one the other night. Josh was here earlier. I'm doing okay. Not much changes with me. You know that. I spent the last 2 days up at Barb's. Her niece and nephew are down from, I think they're North Carolina. Come down to do stuff and see her. And so I've been up helping them with stuff in the house. And then yesterday we went to the Italian restaurant down the road here and got takeout and brought back to the house and ate. And today we went to another restaurant over a ways over like that and ate over there. But I'm eating too much doing that. The one I got at the Italian restaurant was spaghetti with a side salad. And what I ate there at their place yesterday, I had enough spaghetti left over. I brought it home for supper last night and still had more than enough for supper. I did. I went back and read every one of them, IJ. I did that with the purpose of, I guess, I went back after it was all over with, and I put down in the description area, I put a bunch of stuff there about it. I did it because people asked me different times about, doing silence, and I have said for a long time that I think silent live streams are a waste of time. So that was why I did it as an experiment. So I went ahead and titled it as an experiment. Figured that would get more intrigued to draw people into it. I ran it for 8 hours and 20 minutes. I only got an hour and 42 minutes of watch hours out of it. I had 53 views, 11 thumbs up. Yeah, I noticed that. You can see it as it gradually started getting lighter and lighter in the morning. I should have put on some kind of a light or whatever in here afterwards. I didn't think about it. But the only thing you can see earlier than that is this sitting right here on this stand. And I got that little, it's only about that big a square, but it's my thermometer and outside humidity and inside temperature and humidity and the barometric pressure and stuff like that. That showed up in the bottom corner of the video. But yeah, with what I was saying about the spaghetti, I mean, it was enough that I had 2 meals and I was full off both of them out of that meal. And the place we went to today, I ordered the clam strips with hush puppies, and it gives you 3 sides. I had mashed potatoes with gravy, pickled beets, and corn. And then Barbara had ordered cheese sticks, which they deep fry those or whatever, so they're crunchy outside, with the cheesy inside. And she orders too many of them like that, so we all had some of those too. And she ordered fried green tomatoes, and we all had some of those, which are both real good. And she got shrimp, and I had the clam strips, so we traded part of those. So I got some shrimp, and she got some clams. There, Josh is back. But the meal that I had there, that's the only meal I've ate all day. I was full when I was done. Because when I went over there to help them this morning, I hadn't even had breakfast yet. Then we went out and ate. And then after we came back, I haven't ate nothing since, other than a little while ago. Well, but just before I started this live, I had a donut. That's all I've ate today. Well, you see, IJ, this one was supposed to be silent tonight, but everybody keeps talking. Oh, Rena did another live. No, I hadn't watched that one yet. I saw the notification on it or whatever, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Yeah, and I agree with that there, IJ. It's been good with Marine being there because it's really given Rena something to do, and Marine's had a lot of fun since she's been there too. other than missing her family, I would almost bet it'd be hard to get Maureen to go back home. Yeah, we're talking about you, Maureen. I kind of think you're ready to stay up there with Maureen or with Arena full time instead of going back home. Well, we got to talk about somebody, Maureen. You weren't here, so we got to talk about you. Now that you're here, we'll talk about Rena. Besides, whenever we pick on you, you always laugh anyway, so nice to see you laugh. Yeah, Ken, she's got to go home so she can feed her crab and her lizard. They're probably getting lonesome with her gone. Josh, I'm not hurting by missing a meal. I've got more than enough here to get me by. And that's been the thing of it, with COVID, where I don't go places as much as I used to and stuff. I sit around here at the house and then I get bored and I go get something to munch on. Well, you could have got them, sent them to me, IJ. And I couldn't get them here. Did you ever find any at Walmart or any place? Because I never looked there. I just went to Walgreens, like you said, but they didn't carry them. Problem with Walmart, so you go to look for something specific, is they're so big, makes it hard to find stuff at times. And you ask the people that work there, most of the time they don't know. Yeah, IJ, if we could be a fly on the wall, see what happens when Ken gets down there to Marines family. Maybe interesting to see. If we can only get her to video it all so she can show us. Thing in the news here just showing that Russia has attacked Ukraine nuclear plant. And so far, they fired 480 missiles into Ukraine. Getting about time for somebody else to step in and help them. They got a guy here in Florida that got caught for speeding, and he says Putin made him do it. Yeah, because all that's going to do is just make a mess for everything, regardless of who wins. And that's why I said earlier, this crap, Biden and whatnot, putting sanctions on Putin's bank account, that ain't hurt nothing. They need to go in there and start, putting some boots on the ground. You need to meet force with force. Yeah, well, they're going to hurt them financially, but that's not helping the people in Ukraine right now, though. That's why I say they need to meet force with force and put a stop to that over there. They've already had, I think they said 1 million and some people left Ukraine, went into Poland. Well, that's always a possibility, Josh. The other thing, they may look at it from the viewpoint of China being there, but I don't know if China wants to really get involved with anything with Russia and us. But, they need to, put UN troops in or something, whatever, just to stop them from what they're doing. There's been a lot of, civilian Ukraine people that have been gotten hurt or killed from it. Yeah. Well, that's true, IJ. It's not the ones in the big spots in government that are going to hurt from it. It's the little guy. I mean, that's the same thing with anywhere. You start messing with anything like that, and it's the little guy that suffers from it. Yeah, again, and do they actually have that many nuclear weapons and stuff in Russia? I mean, China would be somebody that I'd come more to worrying about because they've got the money backing to keep them with stuff like that. But I don't know if Russia has a lot of stuff. I don't know. There's supposed to be a bunch of space junk crashing into the moon tomorrow. Well, I've said the same thing, Josh, because of things they were saying the other day that he's made comments about certain ethnic groups and whatnot that that they're inferior, need to get rid of them. I said he's following the same footsteps that Hitler did. I mean, that was his big idea, with the Jews and stuff. And you think they do, Ken? Well, yeah, I know that, Ken or IJ, but I just I've never followed enough to know on what they had that way. And like I say, Russia is not a good financial situation compared to a lot of countries. China does have the money backing to do stuff that they want to. They also have the manpower. Yeah, and there's enough of it with that too that they've always said in the past. If they go into the point of like World War III and started using all the nukes and stuff, it wouldn't matter where you were. There wouldn't be nothing left in the world to survive on. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of like when COVID first came out. A lot of people in China disappeared when they started talking about it. because there was people that came out, early on with COVID from China that were doing YouTube videos and other platforms and stuff like that, saying that they needed help and whatnot over there, and then gradually they just kept disappearing. I at first said when COVID came out that China was doing that for population control. Mike's back. Hmm. Well, they've even started doing that up in Ottawa in Canada, arresting the protesters up there. She's listening to TikTok. What? She's got her watch in front of her ear, going tick tock, tick tock, tick. A lot of people using TikTok anymore. I think most of them get more views on there than they do on YouTube. Hey Nancy, how you doing tonight? Yeah, but Mike, then how does she know what time it is? She takes the watch out or the battery out. I've never been on TikTok. I don't have nothing to do with it, but most everybody that uses it puts their TikTok videos on YouTube, so I've watched a lot of them there. That was kind of how Ruby grew her channel, but she wasn't doing good on YouTube, and her TikTok was doing good, so she started bringing all of her TikTok videos to YouTube. Yeah, you have to watch that Marine on YouTube because they'll hit you for it. But there's a lot of TikTok videos, brought to YouTube. Many of them are funny. Some of them are just plain stupid. Now, one of the other things, I've always heard about, when you yawn, is because it's low. You're, how do you say it? Hurting for oxygen, low oxygen in your body, whatever. And I've noticed if I sit and talk a lot, I start yawning. Apparently, I'm not breathing while I'm talking. Now, I did get up a couple times during the night the other night, came out just to see what my live was doing and read the comments that were visible at that time. And the next morning, I went back and read all of them. I didn't have a real lot of comments for the night. There was way more people that was here than what commented on that live, that silent live. No, I had none. No, I never deleted any that night. I've deleted 4, maybe 5 here tonight, but on that silent, I didn't have any. I never even thought about that till you said that. Yeah, there are. That's what I said earlier. Some live streams once in a while you get them. They're a lot a minute. Well, that might be true, Ken. Well, I've been on here 2 hours and 21 minutes so far. Like I said, I think I've had either 4 or 5 so far tonight. But on that 8 hour one, I didn't have any. I was in the live earlier, another Filipina here in Florida, and I think she had 3 in hers for an hour and something. Yeah, most of mine don't run over about 2 hours, Mike, at the most. I had one here a while back that went 3 hours and something. But it's just like tonight, I was getting ready to go ahead and end this one, at 2 hours or a little before 2 hours, and then all you guys came back in from Rena's, so here I'm still going. No, I didn't want to leave the mic on that way, and I come walking out through here in the middle of the night and stub my toe on the furniture or something. You didn't hear me go, oh fuck. Oh well, Mike. Can't have everything. I'll just, when I see Rena, I'll just feed her a bunch of potatoes just for you. Yeah, and I didn't have anything to set in front of the camera for everybody to watch all night long, like some of them do, you know. They set it in front of a fish bowl or a fish tank or something. Or there's one girl that used to do it with hers. She used to set the camera facing a picture of her and her husband, and that's what you watched all night. Well, Jim, you can tell when we get bored. We run out of things to talk about. Maybe I should figure out how to put music on here. Then I could just let it sit there all night long and play music. Maybe I can get one that loops a bunch of songs together and play all Christmas music. Just over a week, we go back on to daylight saving time. It's a week from this Sunday. Then we'll be back on the 12-hour cycle with the Philippines. Yeah, that's less than 3 weeks away. Then IJ, you'll be able to do your walking around outside and get pictures of the spring flowers and stuff. I don't plant flowers. I don't plant anything I have to take care of. The only thing you've seen me plant out here has been them cactus. You don't have to water them. You don't have to trim them. You don't have to do anything. I just try not to damage when I weed eat around them. Well, Jim, would you rather talk about cats or rather talk about farts? I want to plant a couple citrus trees. I like to put in orange and grapefruit if I could. Okay, Jim. But I got a couple holly trees over there I want to cut down first, get them out of the way, because where I fall them, that's going to be right where I want to plant the citrus trees at. But I need to get at it and get that done, because otherwise the citrus trees won't grow before I'm gone. Mom and Dad used to have 4 of them here that they planted years back, but over time they've all died off. Yeah, and you think about it, he used to be on the Wheaties box. Where we went to eat at today, when we got ready to leave, as you go up to the door you go out of, where the register's at, sitting on the shelf right there near the register is the head from an alligator. Probably the head's probably about 2 foot long, but it sits right there near the register. I ran across a video the other day about Thailand. because they're always showing the ones there, the Philippine street food and stuff. But they had one there in Thailand and was showing places to buy meats and stuff. And one of the things that they were selling there was rat meat. A lot of people were buying it. Yes, IJ, rat meat. I mean, the way they had it was, it had been all dressed out just like the way we, dress out a deer or whatever. And they had it just flayed open, so you had the full body of it there, minus the Philippine style of the head and tail. But you could buy it there, as fresh meat. But I had heard that years ago that they ate rat there. And all the pictures and stuff of it they had there at the meat market or wherever it was at that they were selling it, the meat and stuff from the rats basically didn't look any different than the meat like Rena and Marine were picking up today. Just, smaller packages all. But a lot of people, over time, different places have ate different things that many think are not good. Well, yeah, when I was a kid, I used to go with my grandfather and my uncle to one of the local landfills that we had near where we lived at. The requirements back then were different. Now everything that's put in each day is covered, that day. So there's nothing left exposed to the elements, the wild critters or whatever. Oh, Marine, I think I've had either 5 or 6 so far tonight. But we used to go over there with the 22s at night and a flashlight to shoot rats. And some of them we saw there at the landfill were as big as cats. But, they're living there at the landfill. They got a gourmet, there all the time to feed them with. And then all of them that we shot, the others would just eat them too. Yeah, that's probably true. But most any restaurant, it is not always as good as what you think or hope. I've worked in a restaurant before. Um, it changed names several times over the years, but it started off years ago back down here in Florida as Sambo's, and then they had to change the name because they thought it was prejudice against the black people. And I don't remember what it changed to, but then it's changed a couple times since before it disappeared. But I worked with them for a while, and I've seen them there in the kitchen where they'd be cooking and stuff, and drop a hamburger on the floor, drop a piece of toast on the floor, whatever. You just picked it up and threw it on the plate and served it. They didn't waste it. And that stuff happens way more than you think. I mean, toast is one of the easiest things there is to drop. You put them on a plate and turn quick, and it'll slide off the plate. But as far as like Thailand eating rats, the Pekingese dog originally came from China. It was originally raised as a food source. They raised it to eat. Now people have them for pets. Yeah. Well, they've supposedly changed the formula on it now, but it used to be, if you could spill a Coke on paint of an automobile, it would eat the paint off it. Now, IJ, everything tastes like chicken. It wouldn't taste like bunnies. Yeah, rats and rabbits both are red meat. Yeah, like I say, I think they've changed the formula on Coke now, but it used to be the old Coke that you bought. You spilled it on an automobile, it would take the paint off, and I think you could use it to clean rust off from metal and stuff too. Well, that may be Ken, but a lot of that stuff like that, if somebody fixes it and you don't know what it is, may not taste what you think it would, and you may like it. I mean, another example that most people would think you wouldn't want to eat, whatever, but it's supposed to be a delicacy, whatever. Rattlesnake. I've never had it, but I've always heard about it. Another one that you would think, maybe strange to eat or whatever, and I've had it and I really like it, it's alligator. Yeah, and with that IJ, I mean, I was the same way. When I was a kid, mom used to fix liver a lot, and I hated it. But it's just, everybody said, well, oh, liver, that's terrible. I eat it, whenever I can now. I love it. But I like alligator, uh, rabbit, pigeon. I don't remember which one it is that I don't care for. Whether maybe it's shark. Yeah, frog legs are supposed to be good. I've never had those either. But then they make fun of us eating stuff, like the frog legs and the pigeon and the rabbit and whatnot. And some people eat dried fish or fish eyes, fish heads. I knew that was coming, Jim. Yeah, Marine, frog legs should be something about like lizard legs. Well, Jim, that was something like I would sometimes say. It's like I always used to say, I'll eat most anything once, twice if she's good. Marine, you just take the frogs and make pets out of them. Keep them with your lizard and your crab. I'd rather have pie than cake. I like the pie better because it's not as dry as cake. Well, Jim, I've gotten lazy on that. I buy store crust and make my pies. Mom always used to make them from scratch. That was one of the things, that we had it good when we were kids in that aspect because mom always made, homemade pies, cakes, bread, cinnamon rolls, donuts, cookies, cakes. I've got stuff here I need to get out and sometime and make it to make pecan pies. I've had the pecans for quite a while. That's one I really like. I like pecan pies. I like mincemeat. I like gooseberry. I haven't had gooseberry pie in years. One place I ever used to get them was when I went to my grandmother's in Kansas. You won't dream about the frogs or the snakes, but you'll dream about the frogs and the rats. Well, I get stuff like that from Winn Dixie here, and they're always barking. There's, made from scratch, their bread and all that stuff, but I wonder how much of it is. Catch you later, IJ. Mike, you were saying there before that 2 hours and 20 minutes or whatever it was too long. We're already at 2 hours and 52 minutes now. Yeah, I normally go out between 11 and 11:30 and pick up my cat's food dishes, put them up for the night. Haven't got that done yet. And it's almost midnight. I don't know how long it'll take if the computer was turned off, but with it turned on, used it like I am, it takes this new battery a long time to charge. Yeah, Marine, I always enjoy talking to people, no matter where it's at. That's true, Ken. The biggest thing that is a time factor for my life is the cats. I have to get up in the morning and feed them. Some mornings I don't get up as early as I should, so they don't get fed as early as they should. But there's a lot of times when I've gotten up that way, when I go out the door here to go feed them, there'll be half a dozen of them sitting right here at the door waiting for me. Good night, Rena. Marine, what do you do when Rena takes her nap? Do you take a nap too, or you go out and wander the streets by yourself? I got a bunch of projects here that I need to do, just don't get the motivation to go do them. I need to drop the rear fuel tank in my truck. The pickup on the bottom of the fuel pump is broke, came off, whatever, and I need to replace that. I need to see if I can figure out what happened with the fuel gauge in my front fuel tank, because it reads over full all the time now. And what I found on that, it indicates the ground wires disconnected or whatever. And that may have been caused by my cats, because when they were smaller, they used to crawl up in underneath my truck on top of the fuel tanks and on the frame and wherever to get out of the weather and stuff. And they may have pulled a ground wire loose on it. Well, telephone, the internet, or the computer, the TV, any of that is hard on your eyes. They say the blue light from it is hard on them. I need to replace both of the exhaust manifolds on my truck. It's just so much crap under the hood that it's a cluster to try to get to it to take them off even. Yeah, but Maureen, you got to take care of your eyes. You're still young yet. And if you stop and think about it, what do you do that you don't use your eyes for except to sleep? And if you damage your eyes and get where you can't see, what's that going to affect on everything you might do? Later, Ken. Well, Mike, we do have coyotes here. We have bears. I've seen the bears even walk down the road here in front of the house. I've seen alligator walk down the road. But most all the wild animals and stuff like that, I don't have a problem with them other than when they're bothering my cats. But I've been out before on the road at night and stuff like that and had the bears walk up within, say, 3 feet of me. When I used to be at my other house, I had a mama bear came in over there one day. She had one hurt paw. She was limping around it real bad. She went over where my wood pile was and was laying in the shade. She had 2 cubs with her. And I was out there with my camera taking pictures of them. Okay, Maureen, we'll catch you later. But the 2 cubs kept coming over around me and climbing the tree there beside where I was at and whatnot. And pretty soon Mama Bear would kind of growl down a little bit and they'd go running back over to her. Pretty soon they'd come back over to me again. Did that on and off half the afternoon. Well, this has been 3 hours, so I guess I'll go ahead and end it now and go take care of my kitties. May have to go see if I can find something to eat again. Have to have my snacks. So I will catch you all later, and thanks for coming in, and see you all in the next one.